Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. As you join the live, if you're on Facebook, if you're on um, Twitter or X, if you're on YouTube or LinkedIn, please do let me know. Hey, Erin, so good to see you, my dear sister. Hey, Coach Bev, excellent to see you all. Thank you so much for joining. I really, really appreciate you all. It is the end of February. I can't believe how quickly we are almost in March. So thank you all for joining me. It is a most beautiful day in the DC area. If you're not in the DC area, let me know where you're actually connecting with me from. And then also, if you are a part of the Reframed Brain family, do let me know that as well. Um, I am, while other people are joining, want to take opportunity to introduce myself. I am Erica Savage, a wellness lifestyle coach, and I am also the founder and host of the Reframed Brain. We are a podcast and wellness community that centers brain health and unseen injuries. And so, if you are not yet connected with us, please do go to the reframedbrain.com. We've already placed it in the comments, so it's quite easy for you to copy and paste in your browser and get connected with us. So while other people are joining, I really am thankful that you did stop in on this Monday noon afternoon. Hey, Sherry, always excellent to see you. I'm really grateful for everybody jumping in. And so I didn't want this to be very long. The cognitive decline is not a comedy. And I want to share a little bit more around what that is about and what I mean, and I'll have you on your way in about 10 minutes. So, again, thank you for joining. I am Erica Savage, a wellness lifestyle consultant and founder and host of the Reframe Brain. And the reason specifically for this session is that we're coming up in the month of March to Brain Injury Awareness Month. And Brain Injury Awareness Month is greatly important because we continue to see either through the form of media, newspaper, or television, where there's a lot of discussion happening around mental acuity. And specifically, we've seen it a lot in the political space, but we've also seen it in the celebrity space as well. Bruce Willis, the family of Bruce Willis came forward about a brain diagnosis that he had. And then this was on the heels of watching live on television Senator Mitch McConnell of Kentucky have a brain episode on camera a couple of times. And here recently, there has been a Lifetime documentary movie about Wendy Williams, who had a show. She was a radio personality for many years about her own brain conditions that she's experiencing. And so there has been a lot of discussion around, particularly the last person that I mentioned, Wendy Williams, and her diagnosis, and people that had watched the movie that had come out. So I want to be very, very clear on a couple of fronts that number one, I am not a brain health or otherwise practitioner or physician. That what I share and talk about is specifically and directly linked to my own experience having a brain injury for the past 3 years. I am not and did not watch Wendy Williams' show, was not a supporter of Mitch McConnell. So those things are very true things for me. However, I have spoken up with regards to their conditions. And as a person who was in politics for many, many years, that I was a political executive up until my accident, March 15th, 2021, that I've been very strong in my pronouncements around Senator Mitch McConnell and his standing on policy. However, when he had his brain event live on air, I was very sharp in talking about the stress of that situation and then talking a little bit more about brain injury. So for me, this live and my conversation is not about the defense of a person. It is specifically about the condition and the disease, one that I believe that all of us should be more concerned about because the projections of 2030, which is merely less than 6 years away because we're headed into uh, the third month of 2024. and then what long-term care facilities are attempting to prepare for in 2060 with dealing with the population of people that will be dealing with conditions that are specific to brain health. That there may not be enough beds to fill that. So that is the premise that I'm coming from. This is because, as I said before, my experience with brain health has been very, very personal, and so I want to provide information and education so that we are more aware, and that also we're engaging in activities that can actually help us in our brain health. So, going back to what started this conversation initially, and hi, Stephanie, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Sherry, as well. And if you're checking in, do let me know where you're checking in from so that I can give you a shout out. But in this first session, I just wanted to level set there and then say specifically what institutions, I'm talking about like the Centers for Disease Control, NIH, what all of these institutions are looking at is not only an aging population, but they're also looking at the health and the environment of people and with COVID, long COVID, people that have been exposed to COVID multiple times, how that's impacting brain health. And it is significantly, if you've spoken with anybody who has had COVID, who is experiencing long COVID symptoms, one of the immediate experiencing long COVID, excuse me, one of the first symptoms, first few symptoms that's talked about is brain fog or memory loss. And as a person that suffers from a brain injuries have categories and they are expansive, but is usually mild, moderate, and severe. Mine was moderate, is that now you're looking at functionalities like that of the executive functioning part of our brain located in the prefrontal cortex. That what that does is that gives us information on logic, on reasoning, on emotional regulation, having that disturbed and what its impact is like. And as I shared, if any of you all read my Twitter comments around brain health, I talked about in my own experience how among my brain practitioners, 9 of them, I'm still working with about 4 of them, but at the height of my injury had 9, that I had 2 TBI, TBI meaning traumatic brain injury. Those practitioners saying that you need to be prepared because the person that you're speaking with is no longer this high flying executive that you once knew, that you're dealing with a toddler. So when you think about having that type of having those types of um, unable to have the regulation that you would have as a learned adult, to be able to logically think through instead of reacting based off of emotion, with that being compromised, thinking about a person not realizing that they've been compromising as much as they have, what that looks like for our population and what we're dealing with. We're also thinking about too is that scientists are now saying that symptoms of dementia can start as early as 25 years prior to the diagnosis. So what that screams is prevention, prevention, prevention. So when we're talking about and just in everyday language, when we're just saying, "Are you demented?" Um, don't you remember, phrasing like that, that's in the ether, that's in language as a way to ask someone, are they all there? That the all there is something that is going to impact and affect everyone. And it won't be just the aging population. It'll be the population that's been exposed to perhaps substance abuse disorder and some of those perhaps designer drugs have impacted the prefrontal cortex, the executive functioning part of the brain that I've talked about. So we're looking at a very inclusive population of people. And so that is why we have to talk about brain health more. We have to talk about prevention more. And we have to talk about ways in which that you could actually boost your brain health. One of the ways that you could do that is by going on a walk, connecting with nature. That is very, very good for the brain. It's also good for those to get the sensory pistons firing off. Another thing that's really good for brain health is ensuring that you drink a lot of water. We have to stay hydrated. Our body is made up of at least 75% water. Our brain has fluid and water around it, and it needs to stay hydrated. So, drinking plenty of water. And if you want to know exactly how much water that you should drink for your own body weight, your own health, then you would want to discuss that with your practitioner or look that up. What is the appropriate amount of water for you to drink according to your body mass, and for your weight? And then the third way that we can improve our brain health is through connection, healthy connections with people. Perhaps you and another person get together and play chess or learn how to play chess. Do a word search, gardening with a person or by yourself. It's the connections, it's being off devices, it's actually focusing when you're engaging on a walk, getting that fresh air, connecting with nature. These are some of the ways that we actually do improve our brain health. And I'll close out with this. On March 15th of this year, I have a big announcement that will mark 3 years since my accident that caused my life changing brain injury with a myriad of other injuries. So, if you'll go to the reframebrain.com, make sure you subscribe to my newsletter, make sure you are part of the wellness group. And that way, the Reframe Brain crowd will be the first ones to know exactly what that big announcement is. So, I hope that one of your takeaways is this, is that cognitive decline is not comedy. I myself I don't believe in karma. That's not a part of my belief system. I do believe in sowing and reaping. And in the case of cognitive decline, because I am immediately impacted by it, because it is me and I know people that I love that have been impacted by it, it is my decision that no matter who the person is, if it's someone that I have political differences with and have gone to bat in the fight against policy, or if it's somebody that I don't subscribe to their way of thinking or to their to what they say, that outside of that, to be a sower of compassion. And that does not mean that you have to rally arms around that person, but not to contribute and to celebrate their demise as well, because this very shortly is going to be impacting every single person. So it is my hope that you do take care of yourself, that this is definitely time and opportunity to do that. And if you want to learn more about the work that I am doing, from political executive to a brain health advocate and a wellness lifestyle consultant, do go to the reframebrain.com. And if you would be interested in procuring my service, if you are a leader, if you're interested in workshops and trainings, ways for me to help you, your team, to introduce, create, and sustain a culture of wellness, I am available to do that. Just also, please go to great reset.today, and you can schedule a time for us to chat about how I could be of service to you, your corporation, or organization at great reset.today. Thank you so much for taking time, about 15 minutes with me, and I do hope that you will share this live with someone else. Until next Monday, be well, and thank you again. Have an excellent rest of your day. Bye, everyone.